Hey everybody, John O'Connor here again, and welcome to another installment of Bucket List Characters. Characters I want to play before I kick the bucket. Today's installment, the Abjure Wizard. Let me start off by going, don't like the name Abjure, so for the rest of this video we're going to call it an Abjurationist. Abjurationist wizard is someone who practices abjurations. Second part of this, mage armor is not a conjuration, it is an abjuration. Abjuration spells are protection spells. Why mage armor is considered conjuration, other than for balancing, is nonsense. So, my character is going to be fully dedicated to practicing abjurations with the exclusion of maybe 0 level spells, only so for the first 3 levels she can be a little offensive and help the group out. Once she gets past 3rd level, yeah, straight abjuration focus with, of course, the exception of the conjuration mage armor. So, this is one of the few characters I have right now on my bucket list that I'm definitely saying from just out the gate, I want to play it as a female. This character has actually shown up in one of my campaigns as an NPC. I liked the character idea, but I had to kill her off because of time constraints, and I really wanted to focus on the group. So, I really like to play this character with a, as a PC this time, and see what she can do. Now, the basic personality I've created for her, and I'm going to refer to her, I'm going to refer to the character as her, because the name really isn't important right now. And some of the background can be worked to your story, whatever you want it to be. But what I really like about this character is the quirks, the disorders. She's paranoid, she's afraid of things, she's clumsy. And she has so much going against her from the start of it that's self-imposed, which really gives me the chance of, as personal growth goes on, as things go on, at different points I can say she overcame a fear. At different points I can say that she is able to do this. And I know that you need to leave things in your DM's hands up, but a lot of the stuff isn't mechanics. It's once, especially if a DM is going to work with me, if I have to face it a couple times, well then after a while she's just going to overcome that fear. Arachnophobia. At early levels, give me a couple venomous spiders. Then a couple levels later, give me the larger version of them. She'll get over that fear. She won't like it, but she won't be stunned with fear anymore. She's going to struggle with feelings of doubt and, okay, do I really belong here? And my vision, which again can be changed to fit the DM, is that over 20 levels, whatever the DM story is, there's going to be a sub-story of my character coming into themselves, realizing they have self-worth, realizing they do belong in an adventuring party. So, yes, there's going to be some things put against them, both from the DM and from my own creation standpoint. One of the big ones that I like is the clumsiness factor. I want her to have a dexterity of 6 or 8. Not going to give her the 10. Whoa, she's clumsy. No. I'm actually going to have it mechanically where I suck at running and where I'm not going to have a good reflex. Might even go as far as, later on levels, not even have a by glove of dexterity, unless I'm just forced to. So, yeah, clumsy character who's afraid of things. Also, when they walk in a room, you think they may have seen some things, because they walk in with an eye patch, and you're always like, why does that character have an eye patch? What's going on? Especially, she's shy, so she doesn't talk much. So, walk into the tavern, have my adventuring garb on, have the eye patch, walk to the front counter, sit down, order my ale. I'm going to have an ominous presence for, a minute, maybe 2. But anyone who gets to talk to them, they're going to realize that she isn't any form of a badass, and that the eye patch, she'll lift it up and like, no, I've got my eye. And they're like, well, what's going on? They're like, well, I have a lazy eye. And, I'm trying to correct this. So, clumsy, lazy eye, afraid of the world. These are the quirks I want to instill in the character. And through the process of learning arcana, she builds her self-confidence, she builds her self-worth. Until one point, which I don't know what level it's going to happen, it's going to be dependent on the story. She's going to have an abundance of confidence. Not overconfidence, but confidence. She'll be able to tell NPCs or PCs in self-doubt, it's like, look at everything that's wrong with me. I overcame it. Why can't you? And she'll be able to, from the beginning of the story, she'll notice everybody's strengths and weaknesses, and she'll size herself up. In early levels, yeah, she's going to have a lot of self-doubt because if there's a fighter or a rogue in the party, like, yeah, they're really good at what they do. Well, you're our wizard. What do you do? Can you cast the fireball, the magic missile? I can cast protective spells on myself early on, and then later on I can stop people from teleporting in. So it's a character that the rest of the party might have to carry, I'm going to say levels 4 through 6, but after that, yeah, she'll come into her own and actually be able to do a couple more things. And the reason I say 4 through 6 is because levels 1 through 3, Acid Splash and Ray of Frost, they still do a little bit of damage, enough to be noticed. But those are pale in comparison to later level conjurations and evocations, which can actually do some real damage, which she won't learn. Part of her backstory is like, well, why don't you, learn, conjuration? Why don't you summon a monster? While she was training at the college, or whatever your campaign has, a father figure or whatever, she actually learned the spell Summon Monster. And the first time she used it, she, got all the materials together, cast the spell, worked on it for weeks because she thought to herself, I'm going to summon this creature, I'm going to summon a canine, a cat, something mundane, something pedestrian. First time out, summons venomous spider. Her own conjuration tried to attack her. Did not help her. So from that point on, she swore off conjurations. Like, no, other people can try. I'm not a fan. It's no, thank you, no, thank you. But one of her hidden talents, which will come up through the story, she's going to have a high constitution. You don't take as many falls, dives, and dips as this woman's going to have taken, and not learn how to protect yourself a little bit better. So, high constitution, it might even be initially higher than her intelligence as far as for casting. She's taken some bumps and scrapes. That's part of her backstory, is that when she's out of her wizarding garb, out of her adventuring gear, if there's some lull time, other adventurers are going to get to see, well, how'd you get that bruise? How'd you get that scar? And there's going to be a story for each of them. I fell off a tree when I was 7. I was running up some stairs when I was 10, and that's why there's a scar across my cheek. A lot of her war injuries are going to be very mundane and happen relatively early. But even in the story, as she takes some combat damage, yeah, I'm not opposed to a heal spell too, but yeah, there might still be a residual scar. That's one thing I don't like about cure spells in the game. Well, it bends your bones. Okay, I'm cool with that. It heals your flesh. I'm still cool with that. It doesn't leave a scar. No. Cure spells are not Neosporin. If you take heavy damage, you're going to have a sign that you took heavy damage. I don't care if you're level 1 or level 20. That's utter bullshit. Never been a fan of that. I think if you're glaved in the chest, something just goes, okay, well, you had a cleric in the party and it healed you. Okay, fine. You know what? I'm not going to cheat your cleric out of that. Fine, your cleric healed you. Do you have a scar that shows that this happened? Yes, you do. Nicks and scrapes, I'm cool with those healing, I'm even with the cure spells, oh, you cut your finger here, there you go, no scar. But if you were on the verge of dying and you feared for your life, yeah, there's a mark left over. So that's one thing I always work with my players, and they're always like, well, the cure spell. I'm like, no. Cure spell brings back your hit points, doesn't mend your flesh completely. 99.9. That extra 0.0%, that's the scar. That's what I like. So she'll have a couple of those. It'll be part of her quirks and flaws as far as, she bruises easily. But the one thing that she has about her, one thing that I love about this character idea is she doesn't run away. Through challenges, through battles, she might freeze up sometimes. She might, stop fighting and go drag somebody else to safety, which, yes, I understand can be saving your own ass sometimes, but she does not run away. She does not look at a challenge and go, later, boom. She doesn't enjoy conflict. She doesn't like it. But when it happens, she's there to stick with her friends. Now, if it's her one-on-one with somebody, that's a different code of conduct. Survival does become an issue at that point. But as far as in groups, if they're not going to abandon you, what gives you the right to abandon them is kind of her mentality. So, that is the idea I have for my Abjuration Wizard. Please tell me what you think, and as always, if you're enjoying these videos, guys, please like, subscribe, and share. Have a great day.